Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Ormsby, and this is my answer to the second question from Chapter 3, which is to describe the socialization process for graduate students in our program and discuss whether it's successful in socializing newcomers and creating job embeddedness. So I thought back to my whole experience from hearing about Liberty until now, and I think one thing that Liberty does very well in their socialization process is the customer service in the application and acceptance and enrollment phase and onward. But I think, starting there, if we're going down, Feldman's stages of socialization, we're in kind of that anticipatory stage where you're kind of learning what to expect from the organization. And I think Liberty does a great job of communicating that, we're here to help you. We are, here's our expectations. We are a Christian university. We care about you. We expect timeliness, but we're here to help if things are a little off. And, you get that very clear understanding of what the organization is like. And that's before you've even entered into your own field of study. And so after that, we kind of get to that encounter phase. So I would, consider this kind of first class. Really the subsequent classes, because you're kind of entering a new community each time in a way, or a little bit of a fresh start. And I think that one thing that most teachers do is kind of hey, here's me, here's how you can contact me, and here's my expectations for you. And I think at that level, there's a really effective, here's the expectations, and I'm also here to help you. And I think that is communicated very clearly throughout the whole socialization process. And then as far as peer-to-peer socialization, I think that, we do the discussion boards of, hey, introduce yourself, and kind of talk back to one another and see what you have at your interests and hobbies and family life. And I think that's cool and it's good. And I think that it gives you a little taste of who you're kind of working with. But it's an online program. And I think that we all kind of understand, or at least, from my perspective, I understand that you end up losing out on the community aspect in a lot of ways. And I personally am okay with that, and that's why I was okay with doing the online experience, because while you do lose out on a lot of those opportunities, sometimes it's the only option. So I think that, the peer socialization is kind of the best that it could be, but obviously it's not going to be up to the effectiveness level of actual in-person communication. And then I think one thing that I admire about Liberty is, there is an actual behavioral change that comes because, I don't want to say forced, but you start to incorporate biblical study into your educational study, which is not something that a lot of people experience prior to attending a Christian school, or primarily a Christian university, because, when you incorporate it into that higher level of learning, I think that's a deeper understanding and a deeper incorporation into your life that is awesome. And I think that does encourage behavioral change within the organization. I think that's awesome. And then in terms of job embeddedness, so to hit on that part of the question, so, embeddedness is defined by how connected we feel to the organization, how we feel we fit in, and what kind of keeps us from leaving. And I think a lot of the things I've said kind of show that that embeddedness is happening in many ways. Like I said, the embeddedness doesn't really come quite so much between peers, but I think embeddedness within the organization is very effective. I do not foresee myself leaving, and I don't see any reason why I would, because there have been so many positives.